Deviyo Sajjano, ladies and gentlemen, Vande Mataram, Namaskar. When I say ladies and gentlemen and Deviyo Sajjano, I obviously mean the esteemed teachers. I obviously mean the parents. But I also mean the students. If you must have got used to being addressed as Pyare Bachcho, my dear children, please better start getting used to this, that now you will be soon be addressed as ladies and gentlemen. So I'm simply preempting that address, which you will soon be getting it in the about from a couple of years from right now. And that means the entire world to you. That means a lot. Because, as kids, when we are brought up in a bit of comfortable environment, ममता होती है सबकी, शिक्षकों की भी होती है, माता पिताओं की भी होती है. So they bring you in a comfort zone. But once you step out of this comfort zone, beyond the wings of your parents and teachers, there is a battle waiting for you. You will have to behave like adults. I don't mean to say that you need to lose your childhood. No, please keep the child in you alive for yourself, for you to be happy, alive for your loved ones, alive for all those good people who come into your life. But the people who are not that way, you need to behave like grown-up adults, ladies and gentlemen, men and women who are powerful. Right? And before I get on to that, coming on to the occasion for which we are here, for my compliments and congratulations to all those ladies and gentlemen who were conferred with this honor today. And compliments to you. I do not know how is it feeling to you. I don't know, maybe you are feeling honored, a sense of pride. Also compliments to the parents, to the teachers who nurtured them. Congratulations to every one of you. So maybe there's a feeling of pride, maybe there's a feeling of honor, maybe there's a feeling of happiness. Could be many more. But I wonder, maybe, just maybe, there's also a feeling of power. At times when you get such honors, recognitions, you tend to feel that you're getting power. Now this is an definition of power, the way we understand it, is actually, I do not know, but in my view, there is no exact translation of power in any Indian language. Shakti, जो हिंदी में बोलते हैं, उसका अंग्रेजी में मतलब strength होता है. So I do not know whether there is an exact translation of power in Indian. Because what has happened is not about the words that we use, it is about the feeling and the emotion that is attached to that every language and word, and every language brings the culture and the ethos of the place from where it originates. So Bharat mein it was different, but the European understanding of power is something. Can we have the number one video, ma'am? I'll just show you that. How the West visualizes as power.
Can you tell me the definition of power, Trent? It's the ability to direct or influence another's behavior or course of events. That's what I have. I can remove you from this class and fail you, or I can send you before the dean for violating the student code of conduct. These are all things that can alter the course of your life. That's power, and you don't have any. When Christopher Columbus first came in contact with Native Americans, it was the Arawak people in the Bahamas. I'll read to you from Columbus's journal. They willingly traded us everything they owned. They do not bear arms and do not know them. For I showed them a sword, they took it by the edge and cut themselves out of ignorance. They will make fine slaves. With 50 men, we could subjugate them all and make them do whatever we want. You ever feel like that, Trent? You ever feel like making someone do what you want, whether they want to or not? It's a very European mentality. That was the mentality of the men who discovered America. And it's the mentality our society struggles with today.
That is the mentality that Europeans have. And unfortunately, I feel at times we are also adopting that mentality. That wasn't the mentality and the attitude and the emotion attached with power that this great nation called Bharat grew up with. So just about 10 months ago, maybe 8 months ago, I was in an interview, someone was taking it, and he abruptly asked me this question, Sir, what is power? And I want you to show that one, because today if I speak the same definition, it will probably attempt that in this context मैं बना के बोल रहा हूँ आज आपको to prove something. So this is something you can go and check on the YouTube also. There is something which was put on YouTube 8 months back. Can we have the next slide? Next video.
Power, there is nothing called power, it's always responsibility. Power is nothing. Power to hai nahi, it's only responsibility. So I always take it, whenever I have grown up, I always take it as a responsibility. Power to मैंने कभी लिया ही नहीं. I never took that I have power. I always had responsibility. It keeps growing. That's the only reason power comes to you. Otherwise, you don't deserve to be getting that power. Unfortunately, the worst things in this world happen when a person who gets power somehow, he is not conscious of his responsibility. And that is the time all the wrong things in this world have happened. Do happen even today.
This is the feeling and understanding of power. Even the word, you take that word in the literal sense, was passed down to us, given to us by our great ancestors of this great land called Bharat. यहाँ पर शक्ति का तात्पर्य सिर्फ दायित्व होता था, जिम्मेदारी होती थी, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होता था. Now ये शक्ति है जो दायित्व है, responsibility to do what? That's the biggest question. The responsibility is to do what is right. And then what is right? Well, ladies and gentlemen, देवी और सज्जनों, इस देश के इतिहास में हमारे पूर्वजों का सिर्फ यही एक ध्येय होता था, to seek and work in the quest to understand what is right. सत्य क्या है? इसी की तलाश में हर पीढ़ी आज से कुछ 100 वर्षों पूर्व तक, और आज भी कुछ लोग होंगे सदैव लगे रहते थे कि सत्य क्या है. सब कुछ त्याग के सदैव there were always people, visionaries in our society who used to, abandon everything, all prejudices, all books, everything. They used to leave everything behind, walk into wilderness, go to Himalayas in the quest to understand what is right, सत्य क्या है. And after they understood that, they used to come back into the society and tell people, this is what is right, satya ye hai. And based on that understanding of what is right, they used to guide the entire society. And from there, everything else flew. Everything else was crystallized as to how the society should function, how the family should function, how kingdoms should function, how civilization should function, and how every small little family and organization, every human being should function. That was the path which only this land called Bharat showed to the world. No other land could ever do that. No other land will ever do that. So that when the world is getting confused today, whatever we may be in awe of the powers in the West beyond this country, they're all, ladies and gentlemen, take it from me, they're all even more confused than us. And if there's any land, any civilization, any bunch of people and society in the entire universe and land which can show the light to come out of that confusion, it is this great land called Bharat. No one else. And in that direction, these young ladies and gentlemen, you have a responsibility, right? So, but then what does power means? And what he told you, what is right will always mean different in different context. ये सदैव यहाँ पर धर्म संकट रहा है, इसको धर्म संकट कहा जाता था. ये क्या सही है? तो उसी को जब डाउट होता था कि क्या सही है, even this seems to be right, even this seems to be right. So that is what was always called dharm, because the quest of our ancestors was always to walk on the path of dharma, right? Again, the word called dharma has been perverted, abused, again from the powers from across this, beyond the boundaries of this country. It doesn't mean इसका धर्म शब्द का किसी की भी ईश्वर के रूप का चयन और आराधना की पद्धति के चयन से कोई लेना देना नहीं है. इसका कोई उससे तात्पर्य नहीं है. That is again a perverted meaning that has been passed down to us for reasons I'll come to you for why. But then it always meant to understand the cosmic law, the law under which the entire universe was formed and the law under which the entire universe and the cosmos functions, right from the infinite vastness to the smallest molecule and atom that exists is functioning under that law. That law was understood by our great masters, जो हमारे ऋषि होते थे, and that is what I was talking. Then they came, and from based on that law, they made other laws. Just like today, for example, we have a constitution of this country, and when we frame laws, like you have laws for the school, laws for the officers, all those parents who are here in the organizations that you work. So now these laws, when you are framing, cannot be beyond the confines of the constitution of this country. So similarly, once you understood the cosmic law, and from there, our great masters framed laws for society, people, and individuals. तो जब उसके दायरे में होता था, as long as you work within this confines of this law, function in that law, that means you're walking on the path of dharma. Moment you cross that, then you are crossing the lines of dharma and stepping into the zone of adharma. And that is where has been always the conflict that man has always tried for. And that is the only thing that differentiates mankind from every other living being on this planet. Because no other living being on this planet has got the capability to violate the cosmic law. No one else pollutes this land. No one else does anything जो कि ब्रह्मांड के उन नियमों के खिलाफ है, क्योंकि उनको चेतना नहीं है, शक्ति नहीं है, उनको प्रोग्राम करके दे दिया गया है, ईश्वर ने बना दिया है, and they function exactly as per that program. It is only mankind, human being was given that power to think, and चेतना दी गई, तो we started interpreting that, and because we were given that freedom, so we also started interpreting it wrongly. So whenever we did that, that was adharma. And whenever we confined to that, that was dharma. And apart from the other duties that every living being on this planet has, that is, every living other being, they all is in the quest. If it is not sleeping and if it is not resting, what it is only doing is looking for food, looking to copulate, reproduce, and if there's a threat to its survival, act on it. That's all every living being does. वो तीन तो काम करने ही करने हैं. उसके अलावा the only dimension which makes us different from them is we also need to walk on the path of dharma, and because some of us will not walk the path of dharma, we need to get them back onto the path of dharma, come what may. That's the only duty we have, an additional duty as far as human beings is concerned. Otherwise, we have the same duty. It's just that the way we collect our food must have different, because हम ठीक है खेती कर लिया, the way we do other things, the way we build our houses, वो घोंसले में ही है, we have built up this, that's okay. But we're still building shelters, nothing else, right? But that is the only difference. And if you're not doing that, if you're not standing up for dharma, then you are no better than animals. That's the only difference, right? Now, power also means, why I'll tell you, it is very important to be powerful. शक्तिशाली होना बहुत आवश्यक है. Even if you want to be, वो आजकल एक मिसनोमर आ जाता है कभी, let us be good people, nice people. Let's not talk about fighting. Why to think on those lines? क्या आवश्यकता है? Can we have the third video, please, ma'am? These are lions in a jungle. Please note, aren't they all sitting very peacefully? They are, right? They are as peaceful as anyone can be, as individuals or as a society. There are people who feel like overrunning them. Human beings who came in powerful SUVs, but then they spot a lion and they decide to go back. It's not just that they are sitting peacefully, they'll also make love. You'll just see that. You see two lions kissing each other, loving each other. Beautiful, right? They can't be an atmosphere that is more filled with peace and love, right? Now these lions are peaceful and they are loving because they are powerful. Please get that very straight. Just believe and imagine that इनकी जगह पर कोई कमजोर जानवर होता, कुत्ते होते, तो ऐसी वाले उनको रौंद के निकल जाते अब तक. So ladies and gentlemen, all those young men and boys and girls, remember that If you want to live in peace, if you want the society to live in peace, if you want to spread peace and love, please be powerful, because peace and love will always flow from the strength of power. तो अगर कोई कल को कहे कि बेटा वी आर ऑल पीसफुल पीपल, ना हमें शांति से रहने वाले लोग हैं, डोंट गेट इनटू दीज थिंग्स, क्या बात कर रहे हो, व्हाई शुड यू लर्न टू फाइट? दिस इज द रीजन यू लर्न टू फाइट. And if you learn to fight, if you are powerful, then you will not be required to fight, just the way the lions were not required to fight here. So please get that very, very straight. I'm sorry, but at times, people, grown-up people like me, parents, teachers, that at times some of them think otherwise. So please, I may have, I'll not blame anybody else. I myself grew up in that kind of a mentality when I thought it's not important to fight. Even after joining the army, I had that firm belief, क्या जरूरत है लड़ने की. And even when I joined the army and I was sent on the line of control, I still felt कि, probably I can get peace and harmony without fighting. I was living in that illusion. So I'll not blame anybody if you're still living under that illusion. I grew up in that illusion, and thanks to the great organization of this country called Indian Army, that I could learn that was not right. Because when I went there in the Kashmir, my first posting, and I saw those terrorists there, I actually thought, let me try to talk peace with these guys. And can we have the fourth video, ma'am? This is a conversation between me and a terrorist. That's a real conversation that you will hear now. This is me when I was 23 years.
तुम्हारे क्या कर रहा है? हम सब एक ही तो है. तेरे खून और मेरे खून में कोई फर्क है क्या? ये क्या तुमने इंसानियत के बीच में दरारें डाल के रखी हैं कि तुम्हारा है और हमारा? हम सब एक ही हैं क्या? तेरे हम चार हाथ है, मेरी भी तो है, तेरी भी तो, तेरी भी 5 उंगलियां, मेरी 5 उंगलियां. एक ही दवाई से तेरा भी बुखार ठीक होता है, मेरा भी बुखार ठीक होता है. तो ये इसमें हमारा तुम्हारा क्या लगा रखा है? एक समय मुसलमानों से देखो, ये सब बच्चे अपना कितना बजाना, कितना सकून है. क्या वो कभी उधर कभी ये हो, ये होगा उसको देख कर हमें कितना बात हमें यार तुम्हें तो बोल ही नहीं रहे हम. हमारा तो ये मुल्क ही है इतना बड़ा, और इतना दिल इसका इतना बड़ा है कि यहाँ मुसलमान, हिंदू, सिख, ईसाई, पारसी, बुद्ध सभी रहते हैं. इस मुल्क का एक ही मजहब है, मोहब्बत का, भाईचारे का. इंसान का और कोई मजहब नहीं होता है. नाम चाहे जो ले लो, सबके सब सारे इंसान है और मोहब्बत एक दूसरे पे करते हैं और रहते हैं. एक दूसरे के खिलाफ नफरत करना ये आप मत गलत दिखाओ. आप ऐसा करो, अपना इस्लामी कदमों का सामने रखो, अपना हमारे सामने आप क्या कहते हैं उसको पाकिस्तान में दावत करो, तो हम आपके पीछे. यार अफगानिस्तान और ये सब छोड़ो ना. हम यहाँ बताया ना हमने, जो लोग चाहेंगे वो होगा. जो लोग जिस मजहब को चाहेंगे वो मजहब.
प्लीज नोट द बटन नेक्स्ट टू मी.
जो लोग जिस लीडर को
मेरे बगल में हथियार है,
वोट दे सकते हैं. यहाँ पर उसको पूरी आजादी है. यहाँ कोई जबरदस्ती नहीं है कि कौन को लोगों ने वोट दिया और मुझे रखने उसे खा लिया. ऐसी कोई दादागिरी, कोई जबरदस्ती नहीं है. लोग प्यार मोहब्बत से जिसको अपना नेता चाहते हैं, जिसको अपना लीडर चाहते हैं, तो उसको चुन सकते हैं. आप कहते हैं ना इस्लामिक है और आप भी रहो, हम भी रहेंगे. आप लोग नहीं मानते, होनी है. अरे इस्लामिक रूल या कोई भी रूल वो हो जिसमें लोग खुश हैं. लोगों की जो मर्जी है वो हुकूमत आने दो. तुम अगर चाहते हो, तुम समझते हो कि लोग तुम्हें ज्यादा पसंद करते हैं, तो मैदान में आ जाओ, लोग तुम्हें वोट दे देंगे, तुम यहाँ का वजीर आला बन जाओ. फिर हम तुम्हारी बात मानेंगे. यार हम तो फौजी जो है, हम कभी हुकूमत करना नहीं चाहते हिंदुस्तान में पाकिस्तान की तरफ. जो हमारे लीडर हैं, हम उन्हीं की बात मानते हैं. तुम बन जाओ लीडर, हम तुम्हारे को सलूट मारेंगे कल.
The weapon comes into play. Thank you. So what do? I tried my best for hours and hours whenever I used to come across a terrorist. There is just one rare occasion when my operator recorded when I was conversing him. So that's why I have it. But I used to do it for hours and hours. Every captured terrorist that we used to get, every time I confronted an enemy, and if I could speak, I used to do that. I firmly believed that everybody can be brought around to live in peace. That was my firm belief. As I grew up as a childhood, it wasn't that. That's what I used to always try to avoid a fight with anybody. And not that I didn't have my fights. I had my share of fights. But what used to happen is that even if I had a share of fight, and even if I won, I would never be happy, because I always believed कि यार मेरे से ज्यादा कोई समझदार व्यक्ति होता, शायद सर होते, शायद मैम होती, शायद इसके फादर होते, शायद मेरे फादर होते, तो समझा देते, शायद लड़ना ना पड़ता. मैं हमेशा ही सोचता था कि मैं छोटा रह गया, मैं इसको समझा नहीं पाया कि हमें लड़ना नहीं चाहिए. उसी भावना से, with the same intention, I tried this, that, but soon, some time I began to feel that I am dealing with a different animal. Here I am dealing with a different animal, and I was convinced that साक्षात भगवान बुद्ध और गुरु नानक भी आ जाएं तो इस व्यक्ति को अधर्म के मार्ग से चलने पे कोई नहीं रोक सकता. इसका एक ही रास्ता है. This man needs to be killed, and the weapon comes into play. And then I did what I should have done far back as a soldier. I am a vegetarian, but I don't mind if I get to sip enemies' blood. When I say enemies, इस देश के शत्रु का खून बहाने में मुझे बहुत आनंद आता है. If you can see that. So that is what I mean to say. That is what is important. And out of what I had thought, right from the students who were there till ma'am, everybody talk about leadership. I'll give you my definition of leadership. Because suddenly, when I was in the army, in the later stages of my life, a young officer who just passed out from the academy, he came to me and he suddenly asked me this question: "Sir, what is leadership?" And I'll tell you the answer that I gave. And probably that will put you into the correct perspective and context of what is leadership. He asked me, "Sir, what is leadership?" And I told him, "Look, gentlemen, when you passed out from the academy based on some gazette notification from the President of India, you were given the rank, there was a pipping ceremony, and you were given the rank of lieutenant. Similarly, there will be orders coming from top, and you will made captains, majors, colonels, and above, and right, maybe chief of army staff. But young man, no order from anywhere in this country, not even the president or the prime minister can appoint you as a leader. That young man acceptance that you are a leader will have to come from the men you command. Men you command someday, somewhere, in the difficult circumstances of Rajasthan, when it is 50 degrees boiling, and you do something somewhere on the heights of Siachen, when it is minus 40, 50, and you do something somewhere when everybody is dead, tired, you are hungry, you've been walking, running, fighting battle for last 48 hours, and you still wish to continue. You'll do something, and at that day you will see in the eyes of your men acceptance that, Saab, yes, I accept you as a leader. Before that, nobody can appoint you as a leader. Please don't live under that illusion. Always, every single time." And in the last, I give the perspective of why I've been talking this way, is that you must be hearing that in the times to come till 2047, India is going to be developed economy. You all must have heard about it, including these young men and women. You must have heard about it. So many statistics, so many data. The youth profile हमारा अच्छा है. हमारे GDP ये जा रही है, वो जा रही है. You must have heard all those data. I want you to now think do one mathematical calculation, a very simple calculation in your mind, which is not given anywhere in the internet. 2047 or anywhere around that, if we are going to be developed economy, what is going to be your age? Think. All those children who are there in class 11th and 12th, probably you will be around your mid-40s, right? Mid-40s, touching 40 ke 50 ke beech mein honge. That means at that time when the India is rising up to lead this country, it will be rising on your shoulders. Wherever you are, जिस विभाग में आप होंगे, जिस डिपार्टमेंट में होंगे, जहां पर भी होंगे, you would be leaders of those organizations. उस संगठन को, उस क्षेत्र को आप दिशा दे रहे होंगे, दशा दे रहे होंगे, मार्गदर्शन दे रहे होंगे, नेतृत्व दे रहे होंगे, और ये आपके कंधे पर ये देश इस दुनिया का सबसे ऊंचा, सबसे ऊपर, सबसे सर्वोच्च देश बनने वाला है. इस बात का बोध आपको होना चाहिए. इस देश के इतिहास में जितने भी ऐसे कालखंड आते हैं पूरे पुराने कालखंड में every 150 years or 200 years के बीच में there comes a very important time when this country gets through into a struggle and a battle which decides the destiny of this nation. The last time that important period was when this country was fighting for its freedom, independence struggle लड़ रहे थे. That was the generation, and after that, you are the most important generation in the history of this country. Please let that sink in. You're not an ordinary generation. Easy is not the option that I'm giving you. It's going to be hard and bloody hard. Get that straight, buckle up, man. Men and women of tomorrow, please buckle up for that battle. And I tell you, give you a feeling of what that battle is going to be there. I told you it's going to be a race. In this race, India will, by 2047, around that period, race up to its race beyond everybody else. What do you mean by a race? In sports or Olympics, when you see there's a race, what happens? There's a lane, right? Those lane where everybody runs. Either say everybody runs. But in that lane, and to win that race, what do you need to do? You need to run hard, you need to run long. And you win that race. That's about all you need to do there. You don't need to do anything else. And in this race also, if you think that you need to run long, you need to run hard and fast, and if you win that race, you run your 20% right. You're only 20% right. I tell you the balance part of the race. Because in this race, in that race, in the sports field, beyond the lanes, there are rules. The person running on this side of the lane, that side of the lane, that side, nobody can interfere when you're running. Nobody can obstruct when you run. The person who is ahead cannot stop you if you are crossing him. The person who is behind cannot pull you back when you are moving ahead of him or her. But in this race, ladies and gentlemen, राष्ट्रों के इस संघर्ष और लड़ाई में it's an open battle. The nation sitting here, the nation sitting there, the nation which is right now ahead, nations which are behind and envious of us, they will throw every damn imaginable thing at you to pull you down. इस रेस में सामने वाला बगल वाला आपको मुक्का भी मार सकता है, लगी भी लगा सकता है, धक्का भी दे सकता है, गोली भी मारेगा, चाकू भी मारेगा, जो कुछ कर सकता है वो करेगा to just bring you down. That is the name of the game. And another part is in this race you're not running alone. When I say Bharat दौड़ रहा है means what? There are 140 crore people running. So another way to make us lose that race is that in the 140 crore लोगों को आपस में मिला. When this entire lot which is supposed to run united in a singular direction starts fighting against each other, then nobody's got to do anything else. And that is why you see in this country a lot of contradictions being thrown by those forces who want us to lose this race, and they want you to divide on various factors. There's one thing which you will always feel, because उसमें पूरा बाजार चलता है ना, versus the narrative you see. They want to put verses in almost everything, because जब verses होगा, एक हीरो होगा, विलन होगा, तभी फिल्म चलेगी ना. एक इधर का पक्ष होगा, तभी इधर का पक्ष होगा, तभी न्यूज चैनल चलेगा ना. There always should be two people in combat and conflict. Only the narratives can be one. Only the novels can be written. Only then every damn thing can happen. पूरा empire है verses का. So let's put your verses, men versus women narrative. Man, husband versus wife, spouse versus bow, this language versus that language, North Indian versus South Indian, this caste versus that caste, this faith versus that faith, this God versus that God, Amir versus Garib, Fulana versus Farana, civilian versus Fauji, this versus that, versus. हर जगह पर they are trying to pit you against each other. Please be able to see through that every design of the enemy, and don't fall for that. But because I apologize on behalf of the people of my generation, most of us have fallen for that. Most of us have fallen for that. Ladies and gentlemen, these young ladies and gentlemen, we've done a mistake, I owe it. You need to correct that. Don't fall for that. कोई लड़ाई नहीं है आदमी और औरत के बीच में. There is nothing happening. हम सब एक दूसरे के पूरक हैं. Can you imagine a man without a woman and a woman without a man? No, it doesn't happen. Suppose there's a debate between a boy and a girl, a man and a woman. The woman defeats that man. Can you go back into the home, live like a perfect good husband and wife, brothers and sisters, fathers and daughters, mothers and sons? It doesn't happen like that. So people use a lot of please don't fall for that. That is what it is. And in the end, I would only want to say that I told you, every few hundred years this time comes, and every time that comes, there are people who are blessed to be in that period of generation, to win that important battle. और जब भी ऐसा समय आता है, मैंने कहा पिछली बार स्वतंत्रता संग्राम आया था, तो always people, जो कुछ लोग होते हैं जो इस देश का सौभाग्य बन जाते हैं, कुछ लोग होते हैं जो इस देश का दुर्भाग्य बन जाते हैं। और इस लड़ाई में जो अब से लेकर अगले 25-30 सालों तक होने वाली है, ये आपको निर्धारित करना है कि आप इस देश का दुर्भाग्य बनेंगे, जो सौभाग्य बनेंगे। आपके साथ हैं। जय हिंद, जय भारत।